Welcome to my journey through the Bible. This will be applications that you can apply to your life and a little more in depth about the chapter. We are in Exodus 8, 1 through 32. And we see that the people are infested with frogs. They're everywhere. The rich people and the poor people alike all had frogs. This is a lot like sin today. Everybody has sin, and it seems like our lives are infested in sin, whether it's at home or work or or at church. And the sin that we make usually spills out onto other people. It affects other people's lives. And we will see, just like Pharaoh made this choice, and because of his choice, his whole country would suffer. And Pharaoh was just stubborn. You know, it's a good thing to be persistent, but being stubborn towards God is always disobedient. Stubbornness is normally a sign of pride and self-centeredness. And stubbornness can blind a person to the truth. A lot of times, because we're so stubborn that we're right in what we think or what we believe or what we feel, we miss out on the truth. We miss out on all the other things that are going on around us. Now, Pharaoh wanted the Israelites to stay there and sacrifice to their God. This would have created chaos, and it would have caused more fighting between the Israelites and the Egyptians, because the Egyptians, they believed that even the animals were gods. And for Israel, they would have needed to sacrifice animals. So this would have caused a lot of turmoil between the two nations and the two groups as far as what they believed in. Pharaoh didn't have the full understanding of what the sacrifice was for, even what it was meant. The sacrifice was to atone for sin, and the sin required blood, and it required the blood of an animal so that they may be forgiven. And a lot of times we don't want to fully obey God. We want to partially obey God. I think I'll give up this sin, but I'm not going to give up this one. That's like someone that's trying to lose weight and they say, oh, well, I'll give up chocolate, but I can eat all the baby cakes and candy and chips and all the other kind of junk food, but I'm giving up chocolate. It kind of defeats the purpose. So it's a lot like that with God. We can't make deals with Him. We have to either be all in or we're all out. There's no middle ground. There's no gray areas. And know that when you're all in with God, it doesn't mean that you're not going to sin. It just means that you have grace when you sin. And God is going to work with us with our weaknesses, and God will help us to overcome. It won't be easy, but we have to be persistent. We have to keep in mind that we're trying to be someone better. We're trying to do the right thing. We're trying to stay away from sin to the best of our abilities. And there's a big difference between commitment and obedience. Because commitment just means, yeah, I'm willing to do this. I'm going to say, yeah, I believe in God. And yeah, I'm going to go to church. But I'm not really going to listen to all the rules or all the commandments or all the statutes and laws that God has written in the Bible. That's okay. I'm committed to showing up. I'm committed to saying that I'm going to do something. But obedience means you actually work to try to do that. You actually make a change in your life and in areas that are very sinful. Also, God says that He's going to make a division between His people, the Israelites, the Hebrews, and the Egyptians. And I would say that's a lot of the same today. There's a difference between believers and non-believers. And believers, we make mistakes. We know what we believe in, and we try to do the right thing. But sometimes our feelings get the best of us. Sometimes our anger or our pride or any of the other things kind of gets a hold of us. And before we know it, we've already said something or reacted in a way that we shouldn't have. And then we have to go and pray. We have to ask for forgiveness. We have to apologize for the things that we've done wrong. But non-believers, many times, they don't worry about it. It's like, well, I hurt your feelings, so what? Get some thicker skin. And that's a different attitude. So you're going to see a difference between somebody who believes and somebody who doesn't believe in God. And then you're probably also going to see sometimes, like, you may feel that somebody's blessed more than you. Maybe that's because they're obeying and doing the right thing, and so they are blessed. And maybe it's so that you can learn and have to realize that you can't worry about everybody else and what they're doing. You have to worry about yourself. And then I would also say that the Bible's pretty clear that either you're for God or you're against God. If you're for God, then yay, you're on the right track. But if you're against God, you'd have to ask yourself, then who are you for? What are you standing for? And that's a question that only you can answer. May God be with you in everything and in every way.